Today we're here at VGH and we will be testing out the hyperbaric chamber and checking the ventilator that's within the hyperbaric chamber and making sure that the oxygen levels as well as the CO2 levels are normal. So as a biomedical engineering technologist, you're involved in the life cycle of medical devices. So that involves the acquisition and procurement of new devices, as well as new device testing and making sure they're all ready to go. I love my job because every day is different. Medical device technology is always changing and evolving. It's really exciting to be able to work with so many different types of technology. Being able to work on devices like this is really interesting.
So the Biomedical Engineering program at BCIT is a 2-year diploma program, and we teach them all the basics that they need to know to be able to look after medical devices. What we do is we teach them the basic building blocks that all medical devices are made from. Once they have an understanding of the building blocks, then they can figure out any device that they've never seen before. They can handle anything.
My name is Emily Lankhorst. I'm a graduate of the Biomedical Engineering program at BCIT. I work as a post-market quality engineer at Stryker. I'd had a previous experience in university. I did an arts degree, and I guess I just felt like I wasn't really set up to find a job after that. But coming to BCIT, just the work placements, the industry connections, the hands-on lab experience, I just really felt like BCIT offered the technical skills that I needed to be able to work right away. Thanks to BCIT, I have a really rewarding career that's just full of possibilities and opportunities for the future to grow, develop, keep learning, and keep working in a really cool, field of healthcare.
Many of our students finish the diploma and they would like to become an engineers. So we have some laddering pathway that we are trying to facilitate our student to get an engineering degree and eventually get to be registered as a professional engineer. But the laddering pathway is not just restricted to engineering or technical. We have what we call management stream as well as an engineering stream. So the management stream is for those who, after graduation, they work for a few years and they want to move up to, say, become a supervisor or a manager in a technical department or a technical company. Now, the 2-year program in BCIT, in our program, we don't have time to teach students management skills, financial skills, etc. So it's all focused in medical device technology in the 2-year program. So if those graduates want to get more into management, within BCIT, we have a Bachelor of Technology and Technology Management. So a student can get into that and then get a bachelor degree in technology management. And this management degree has an agreement with SFU in the MBA program. After you finish the technology management degree at BCIT, you can get into the 2nd year of the MBA program as SFU. So it will save you time. In terms of the engineering stream, we have a degree in electronics, bachelor degree in electronics, that our grads is eligible to get into. And once they get into, basically, if they finish, they will satisfy the requirement, almost satisfy the requirement. They have to write a couple of exams to satisfy all the requirement to be registered as a professional engineer in terms of academic requirement. So that's the, you can get an engineering designation after that. Some of our students, when they come in, they already have a degree. And those students, we have quite a number of students that have gone into UBC in the Master of Engineering in the Biomedical Engineering degree at UBC. So those are the laddering pathway. And one of the benefits of that is these bachelor degree, Bachelor of Technology Management, Bachelor of Electronics are all part-time degrees. If you have a full-time job, right, you can take a few courses a term to finish this degree. So you can work while studying and then eventually you get a bachelor degree. Or if you want, you can take, say, if you can quit your job and then get into almost full-time in this degree, that you can finish this degree faster. So that's the laddering pathway, and many of our grads has gone through this laddering pathway to get a degree or a master degree, etc. Before I switch to another speaker, I just want to emphasize that if you are interested in the field of biomedical engineering, try come to BCIT into our program, right? Spend 2 years, finish this program, and you can get a job as a biomedical engineering technologist. And if you want to move on, there's a pathway for you to get an engineering degree, right? To become an engineer. And the other thing is we have, it's not a big proportion of our student population, but every year we have a few engineers that graduate from an engineering program, and then they come to BCIT because BCIT is famous in hands-on. That's the graduate can actually do a lot of hands-on work compared to university, which is more like focus in the theory of the technology. If you are interested, you can like later on, like we can chat more during the question and answer period. But let's move on to, I have another speaker here. Patch is one of our BMed grads, and he is actually one of the star in the video that you've seen at the beginning. Patch, over to you.
Thank you, Anthony. Thank you. So yeah, as a grad of the BCIT program and a member of the industry, I hope I can help shed some light and answer any questions that may come up from your prospective student perspectives. So I graduated from the BCIT BMed program in 2005. I had a summer job at BGH in between first and second year, and I was lucky enough to get hired on at BGH right after graduation. For the first 10 years of my career, I spent it as a technologist and supported areas like the cardiac cath lab, smart infusion pumps, and ophthalmology. From there, I had come back to BCIT and taken that management path that Anthony mentioned to get my bachelor's in technology and technology management. I spent 3 years as a supervisor and have been a manager at BGH since 2018. This slide is meant to kind of highlight the operations and the elements that we're involved with on behalf of Lower Mainland Biomedical Engineering. It's a useful way to show all the things that we're responsible for in supporting the life cycle of over 100,000 medical devices in use throughout the many healthcare facilities throughout the Lower Mainland, spanning from Powell River all the way down to Chilliwack. Starting with planning and procurement, number one, what the clinicians need in order to provide patient care. BCIT program helped us learn about anatomy, physiology, to be able to converse with clinicians in the types of things that they do every day, and we fill the gap in terms of that patient interface and the technology that exists that can in terms of evaluations and implementation. We're the ones that would take equipment out of the boxes when they arrive on site. assemble them, make sure that they're performing up to the specifications that they need to, and then be able to hand them over to the clinicians for their use. Operations and maintenance involving preventive maintenance and repairs. Is the defibrillator that you saw in that video actually delivering 200 joules when it's set to 200 joules? If the device falls on the ground and has a broken display monitor, we're the ones that would engage with the vendor and replace the parts as necessary. Performance management involves things like incidents alerts. Are there industry alerts that inform us about software and hardware updates that need to be deployed out to specific assets like infusion pumps and ventilators and disposal. So as the life cycle lifespan of a device is typically in the 8 to 10 year range, as a device kind of reaches that time frame, already starting the planning and taking the steps to figure out what it is that we're going to replace that equipment with, and the cycle continues to repeat itself. The next slide, please, shows a picture from March 2020. So this was in the first couple of weeks of the pandemic, and where we were kind of seeing the news and things that were happening in Italy and China. We had gotten in touch with Anthony at BCIT to say, send us all your ventilators. So we had equipment on trucks within a couple of days. This is the library at VGH that acted as a hub for equipment throughout the province. We didn't know where stuff was going to be needed, but we deployed all our efforts and resources to be able to get equipment in places that it was needed to be utilized. So it kind of gives you an idea of the kind of things that we're involved with. In terms of what I learned from BCIT, a lot around creative problem solving and that baseline that Jochen mentioned and has been talked about as we're going along. Learning about the electronic components and being able to apply those learnings to all the different assets. And it's impossible to learn about every kind of device, but by knowing the inner workings, we can apply that knowledge to anything else that we need to figure out and decipher. Thinking outside the box, constantly having to have a viewpoint on troubleshooting and trying different mechanisms, different things that could be contributing to a fault or a failure, and trying to make the most out of a limited public funding that is available to us in the province. Customer service is a big core of the practice, working alongside those professionals like physicians, nurses, and other technologists in serving the ultimate patients and clients that are dependent on those services. Anthony mentioned all the opportunities for advancement through the educational pathways. Also in our department, we have lots of opportunities for training and advancement. Myself as an example, as a technologist, supervisor, and now manager, and being an advocate for the profession and trying to bring as many people as we can find into this industry that's really rewarding, really an important part of the healthcare picture. But yeah, definitely not downsizing, not shrinking in terms of our numbers. We've hired more than 50 people in the past 5 years, and we're continuing to have vacancies that need to be filled. One difference and pitch that I'll make that differentiates us from some of the other health sciences that are programs at BCIT is the fact that we are a Monday to Friday type of department. There is weekend and on-call hours as necessary, but we typically work 8 to 4 Monday to Friday to support the equipment as needed. That concludes my talk, but I'm open to any questions and comments that might be relevant to me. Thank you.
Okay, so thanks, Patch. Talking about how, what was the job like in the hospital, basically, right? Our grads working in the hospital is part of the healthcare team, right? Most of the people in the hospital look after the patient, but we make sure that the tools that these people use to do treatment diagnosis in the patient are working properly, and they get the appropriate tools. So we are sort of a hidden part of the healthcare team that most of the public didn't know that we even exist. About how, if you're interested, how do you apply into our program? So we have 2 application deadline. One is for early admission, which just passed February 15. And then the last application deadline for the September 2023 intake is middle of May. So what we have collected quite a number of applications already. So we will be offering about maybe 12 seats, or third of our seats, to these people that applied early. And then for those who have not been accepted, we'll keep their application until May 15. And then we'll get all the application together, and then we will be offering the remaining seats to those applicants. And then we also will establish a waiting list for, in case some people who couldn't show up or dropped out before the term starts.
Thank you, Anthony.
Yeah.
I believe I can take over from here, if that's okay.
Yep, for sure.
Right on. So I'll just help go through the application steps here. I might be a little quick because we're very quickly running out of time. I just want to let you know that filling out the online application is relatively straightforward. Once the application opens for each cycle, you can log in and review the online application. You can work on filling out the application at your own pace. It does not go to admissions until you pay the application fee. The date you apply does not have an impact on your application. You have until the application deadline date to submit your application. And regarding the application process, you will firstly review all the entrance requirements and application processing dates. You'll then upgrade if necessary, and BCIT does offer upgrade courses in many subjects, and program advising can help assist you with this. Ensure that when you apply online that you have all of your required documents, such as transcripts, ready to scan and upload as PDF files, and BCIT.ca admission will guide you through the step-by-step application process. And once you are ready to apply online, you can visit bcit.ca/apply, and the application fee for domestic students is $90 Canadian. And the application process takes place entirely online. Therefore, you will need to convert your official transcripts and any additional documents that may be required into PDF files. And these are the required entrance requirements. There's a proficiency in speaking and listening in English, 2 years full-time education in English or an English-speaking country, English Studies 12, Pre-Calculus 12, Chemistry 11, or Chemistry 12 at 67%. Chemistry 11 or 12? That looks weird to me. Sorry, Physics 12. There's Casper test dates that are listed here. That's an excellent resource to have. Thanks for that, Anthony. And any additional forms, of course, but preferred requirements are academic grades above the minimum and requirements completed within the last 5 years, and additional post-secondary academic course or a bachelor's degree. As mentioned, as part of the online application, you will need to upload documents for a timely assessment to be completed, and you can download official digital transcripts, or you can convert your transcript documents to PDF files. And information on how to convert documents to PDF files is available on our website. For example, you can scan or take pictures of your official transcripts and then save them as PDF files. And please ensure that you upload all required documents to minimize delays in the application process. And the admissions process is first to review the applications to ensure all the requirements have been met. Then admissions forwards completed applications to the Biomedical Engineering Technology Department. After the application deadline date, the department shortlists and selects applicants, and then admission sends acceptance letters. And if you're accepted, you pay the commitment fee and you're on your way. Commitment fee is $500 for domestic and $3,000 for international. From the service areas, here are some other important student supports that I'd like to mention. BCIT is committed to providing assistance to students with permanent or temporary disabilities. So if you have been accepted to a program and believe that you may need accommodation to be successful, I encourage you to contact our Accessibility Services Department. The Counseling and Student Development Department are available to help enhance your educational performance and maximize success as a student at BCIT. They have been offering virtual and phone appointments. If you are an Indigenous student, BCIT Indigenous Initiatives is there for you to ensure a smooth transition into your first year. They offer peer-to-peer mentorship, a welcoming gathering place, and provide clarification on Indigenous funding options. BCIT's Student Health Services is a health clinic located on the Burnaby campus, and they provide medical care for current BCIT students year-round. I encourage you to review BCIT's awards, scholarships, and bursaries, and they are listed on our financial aid and awards webpage. And I'll mention one of the awards, the President's Entrance Award, which selection is based on academic achievement, but also volunteer and community service. And additional details will be referenced on the financial aid website. And of course, recreation services. They have been offering, sorry, there's a lot of old stuff here from COVID, so it's not really applicable. Sorry, I didn't know this slide was not updated. But recreation services is amazing. The gym is awesome, from classes to ping pong to foosball, I think. And that would be great to check out. And if you have any questions after today, I encourage you to connect with Program Advising, and they're available by telephone, email, and Zoom appointments. And you can go to the webpage, bcit.ca/advising, to get the up-to-date contact information and service hours. The School of Health Sciences would love for you to follow us on our social media, the Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube has lots of great videos, and LinkedIn, of course. And bcit.ca has a whole bunch of other resources that are great to check out. And a little late, but better than ever, we got to the questions and answers segment. So I haven't been watching the chat very closely. I'm just wondering if there's any outstanding questions that have been asked, or if anyone wants to type them into the chat or unmute the microphone and speak them out.
Okay, Darren, I saw one that was asking about where are the medical devices company in Vancouver or in town. In Vancouver, there is a fair-sized medical device community. It's not huge, but there are quite a number of companies around, right? In the practicum side, you notice we have Stryker, Keras, right? And these are medical device companies that are quite well established. And there are a lot of smaller company and startup. For example, I got an email just last month from a company which is North Shore. Actually, I didn't even know they exist. I went and have a visit. And then they said they have 17 employees, and they are at the stage of looking for BCIT biomedical engineering technologists, or they want to start with hiring some practicum students to help them to actually build something rather than conceptualize and design. So they are at the stage of getting some real prototype or whatever up and running. So there are companies, there are job opportunities, and is always, right? You never know. There are companies springing up.
So unless anyone has any last minute quick questions that we can answer for you, you can also, I'll let you know that we'll be sending everybody a copy of the slide deck sometime next week, and a link to the video, which may be a partial video, and if you'll forgive me, I noticed I didn't hit record right away. Now is a great time to ask any questions if you have one. Otherwise, we're going to sign off for the evening.
Okay, and if anyone has any specific question, feel free to give me a call or send me an email, or even make an appointment to come in and see BCIT, see our labs, and meet some of the students or faculty.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Anthony. And I'd also like to thank Matthew and Pedge for speaking out today. That was very much appreciated. And also Julie in the background, and Maggie from Program Advising for answering questions in the chat. So if that's it, I will thank you all for being with us today, and we wish you all the best with your future in health sciences. So have a great night, everybody. Thanks for coming.